This week, we talk about food addiction. Also, we'll take the mystery out of muscle protein synthesis and check in to see if I'm any less fat. Let's get into it. You're a good air drummer.
I can look like I'm drumming.
I liked it.
I was going to make a Def Leppard joke.
Everybody old enough will get it.
Yeah.
Well, I just have one thing to say before we start here. Hi, I'm Josh, and I'm a sugaraholic.
Who isn't?
What do you say back? Room of...
Welcome, Josh.
There you go.
Okay.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the carbs I cannot change, the courage to change the carbs I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between total and net carbs. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Next up, TED Talk about bees.
All right, we're going to talk about food addiction, sugar addiction, carb addiction, whatever.
And it's real.
Whatever form it takes for you, we're going to talk about it today. Yeah, it's
and if you don't think it's real, let's go outside. Because I will fight you.
I'll fight you for some donuts.
Fight you just cuz.
All right, before we get into that, I'll talk about this crazy thing that happened this week.
Say it isn't so.
Yeah. Bill and Melinda Gates are divorcing after 27 years of marriage. Well, the funny thing I thought about this is, I mean, she was married to a robot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what does she need?
She came into his office and he had a whiteboard and it had pros and cons for marrying her. And she laughed it off.
Right. Like,
it's like, whatever.
Was there at any point a romantic attraction for her to him? I mean, this is...
No, he's a billionaire.
Right. Well, you know, and I don't know if, I assume he was because they got married in the 90s.
Later, yeah.
Or, you know, so he already had made his bazillions.
Or a good chunk of that.
And I guess she feels like, well, I put my time in, so I don't need to hang out with this robot anymore.
Right.
Maybe I have a chance at finding someone who's actually warm. Because there's no way this guy can be romantic, right?
I don't know.
Like, does he walk down the beach and hold hands?
Did you watch the documentary with him on Netflix?
No, I didn't.
He's actually a pretty real dude.
Is he?
Yeah. He's clever. He's kind of funny, but weird as fuck.
Well,
I mean, he's super weird.
I think he's calculated what would be funny in the moment. You know what I mean? Like he programs himself to say lines that are funny.
Maybe. You'd have to watch it. I think it's pretty authentic. But he is very awkward. But how many truly brilliant people aren't a little out there?
Oh yeah, exactly. But it fascinates me their relationship. You know, one thing I read that was really interesting was even after he started dating his then wife, Melinda, he still took
his ex
yearly trips with his ex to this cabin,
to a romantic tropical getaway,
right,
with her permission.
Exactly.
So he's got billions and an open marriage.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all.
Now I know why you hate him.
But it did. Well, you know, it's kind of relevant. I mean, he's only on my radar because of hating meat and wanting to
put microchips in us.
The vaccine stuff, the hating real meat, buying up. He's the largest farm landowner in America now. That kind of stuff just gives me the willies. But it did produce a bunch of cool memes.
I hope you have that. That's a good one.
It says, for those listening, Mackenzie Scott settles her divorce with Jeff Bezos for $38 billion. Melinda Gates, hold my beer.
Now Mackenzie Scott needs to come back with, get back to me when you give it all away.
No shit. Well, Bill and Melinda Gates, I mean, they have that Gates Foundation, right? I mean, they give away a shit ton of money.
I don't know if you have this meme, but...
Well, I'm going to show you a few here.
My favorite one was it's not on there.
Oh, okay.
The best one by far, though, is the one where it's Facebook Messenger, and it's Melinda's, and it's some dude just slides into her DMs, and it says, he didn't deserve you. And then like 5 minutes later, anyways, what are you doing?
So some of these are funny. It says, it has an old school, like, Windows
estimated
download.
Time left.
Yeah. Me being single and waiting for this day. Estimated time left 39 years. Me on hearing Bill Gates is single. It's got Homer in a wedding dress going down the stairs. Bill Gates. Oh my God, Melinda is going to take half of my money. Jeff Bezos. First time. Oh, and then it has a bride running away from a wedding when she was about to say her vows, but here's Bill Gates is now single. And this one's funny. Bill Gates logging into his marriage this morning. It shows the blue screen of death. Your marriage ran into a problem that couldn't handle and now needs to shut down.
Uh-oh.
I don't get this one. Sending Bill Gates a selfie application and throwing away my phone as we speak. Apple, that's just a fruit to me now. Andrew, I didn't even get this one. Do you get that one?
Sending Bill Gates a selfie application.
That one's like way meme. That's too deep in meme dank culture for me. I don't get that one. This one's funny too. So the Queen of England is newly single, and suddenly Bill Gates gets a divorce. Interesting. That is funny.
The window is open.
Boy, I mean, he walks into any club right now, and all of a sudden he's the sexiest thing in the whole place, right?
Yeah, for that reason, he couldn't go to one.
Right. I mean, he's going to get attacked by single people now trying to hook up with him and be the next. I mean, because if you polled, I don't know, random sampling of women out there, how many would take that bullet for half of the fortune?
How many years does he have left?
Right. He's probably, 65 or something?
Yeah. So she's going to take a bullet for, 15 years?
Exactly. That is craziness,
She's
man.
25.
Right. Gets to live like no one else literally on Earth.
For the second half of her entire life.
Right. I mean, Belinda now, who, I don't know what she did before she was married to him, but suffice to say, she wasn't going to make any 50 billion or whatever she was doing.
Right.
Now she's got 50 billion to do with
but now
whatever she wants.
Because the next 25-year-old chick that latches onto him, he's going to go, well, you got to sign a prenup. She'll be like, that's cool. I'm just riding this out anyways. Right. I ain't leaving.
Yeah, well, yeah, I didn't think about that because, in order to protect his massive fortune, I mean, at this point, he knows that anybody coming at him is going to be a gold digger.
Right.
They got to be.
So, but if he leaves it to her, he doesn't give a shit.
You know what he's got to do? Remember that show? What was it called? Undercover CEO, where they
Oh, yeah.
The CEO of every would put on a disguise and go work at OK Tire.
Yeah.
Just to see how the employees work.
You should go work at Microsoft in Fargo.
Right. And then put a disguise on. And then that's the only true way he can ever find
to him. Yeah.
Exactly. Find a true romantic connection.
Yep.
Craziness. All right. Well, that's Bill Gates getting divorced. Produced a bunch of cool memes.
Sort of.
Another thing. Oh, this one too. Live view of Bill Gates' net worth from Microsoft. And then it says micro. That's good. Okay. I saw something else that was kind of funny this week. Well, actually, I heard a radio commercial, okay? And it just made me mad immediately. It was for eatright.org and it was talking about eat your veggies, kids, and all the kind of normal, stupid government messaging that they use for food.
There's nothing wrong with eating your veggies.
Well,
they didn't say eat your Pop-Tarts.
Well, true. But just in my mind, they're prioritizing the wrong things, okay? So one of the things I'm trying to remember exactly what pissed me off, but it made me actually go look up the site here. It's talking about registered dietitian, nutritionist. Oh, it was the protein angle. That's what made me mad. So they basically tell you as far as, how much protein you should be eating. And I'm kind of on a protein kick right now, like prioritizing, I'm getting into Ted Naiman more, and his stuff is it's resonating big time.
He's going to throw you a curveball in his last tweet, though.
Oh, I got a couple that he's next here, so we'll get to him. He
talks about vegan, vegan P.
I know.
PE.
Yeah, he's figuring out the troll game a little bit. He knows just how to tweak stuff just to get you to react. Anyways, it talks about on this eatright.org site here, getting the right amount of protein, and it basically says, for us, 31 to 50 years old, daily protein recommendations, 6 ounces.
You're in the next one.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
In fact, I won't be for a year and a half because I'm 49, so I won't be 51. And then this really annoyed me. It starts dropping. it says, from 6 ounces, then when you're 51, you only need 5 ounces of protein a day. You should be maintaining that for sure. Well, and in my mind, this is way, way low. Okay, because 6 ounces of protein is, what is that, like? How many grams? Is that like 7 or
6
something?
ounces of nothing but protein.
Right,
Or
let's
six?
say a chicken
Are they
breast
saying
or a
6
steak.
ounces of a source of protein?
Yeah, that's what they're saying is
Because there's fat and other things in a
well,
piece
yeah,
of
no,
meat.
yeah,
It's not just protein.
right. But let's say it was, just for the sake of calculating it. So there's probably how many grams? Like 6 or 7 grams per ounce. So they're basically saying for a 50-year-old male, you should only be getting 40 grams of protein a day. And if you most of the new science and bodybuilders and the Ted Naimans and the Saladinos and the Sean Bakers of the world are saying 1 gram per pound of body weight.
Or 0.7.
Yeah, or 0.7 up to 1.5.
Up to 1.5, yeah.
Right. Okay. So that would mean for me weighing 170 currently, I should be eating 170 grams.
Is that a spoiler?
No, 171. I stayed the same.
Okay.
Right. But I should be eating 170. That's more than 3 times more than they're recommending. So to me, this is a completely off the base recommendation of protein. Thoughts?
They use cookies. What do they know about protein? Yeah, it's whack. It's
whack.
It's very vegan-esque. They're the hardcore vegans. Not just the plant-based whole food folks,
Right.
but the hardcore zealots all the way to that side think that protein is a farce.
So
They don't believe in protein. They do not believe.
they think it's not beneficial.
They don't think it's needed.
Wow.
Which is stupid.
That is just completely
I'm not trying to be harsh,
up.
but you cannot survive
right.
without protein.
Exactly.
People say, well, you can't survive without carbs either. Well, you can
I think you easily can.
because your body makes it.
Exactly.
So,
But your
body
body's not
doesn't.
going to make protein.
Never.
No.
So, yeah, that's quackery, as they like to say on nutrition.
What bothered me was
Twitter.
this is a government site. So then, of course, our tax dollars are paying for this crap and paying for that stupid radio ad that I heard. And
Well, it's a 501c. If it was government, it'd be .gov.
maybe that's the case. But
Yeah, but
Just-
it's still quackery.
yeah, exactly. And just hearing this stuff just makes you mad because you have to fight all this misinformation that you're getting from all sides. I mean, it starts, and really, we're in the super minority here by saying, eat 1.7 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight.
People know that, and they think they do it, but they're not even close.
Not even close to hitting that typically, but most people don't even know it though. Unless you're in the nutrition and fitness space
sure.
and you're really dialed in.
I guess,
Because
yeah, I
there's
take
no
it for granted.
commercials on TV saying, make sure you get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, guys.
No, and I don't think people understand how much that is.
So then you turn on the radio, you hear that. You turn on TV and all you hear is this kind of stuff, government sponsored food pyramid stuff. You go to school, what do they say? Here's your chicken nuggies
Balanced.
and the ketchup as a vegetable and pizza, the completely processed
Whole wheat.
crap. So
Whole
you're eating
wheat
that all
crust.
your school life. It's no wonder people are, number one, addicted to food like we're going to get into.
You mean that chicken patty with mayo on it wasn't good for me? That
That
white
with
with that
breading.
white bun.
Breading with the white bun. Yeah, exactly. And corn. Corn is the vegetable.
And if you did a la carte, you got those French fries that
Good.
had a puddle of grease.
But it just angered me because that's what everyone is hearing all day as you're growing up. You don't have a chance. I mean, you have to somehow it's kind of like the Matrix, right? Somebody has to pull you aside and go, dude, you really want to know or not?
Take the pill.
Do you want the red
Or
pill?
just be stupid.
Yeah, or do you want to just believe all the messaging you're hearing from the standard sources that is everywhere? Or do you want to actually know?
But not to get too deep into that whole Matrix analogy or metaphor or whatever is, remember,
Simile.
pretty sure it's a metaphor. Anyways, remember when he gets that one dude to be a trader and he's like, this is the best steak I've ever had. even though I know it's not real.
Right.
And I don't care.
Yep.
So make me rich and whatever it is, he doesn't care if it's real. He just cares about what he feels.
Yep.
That's every day.
Yeah.
We see it around us every day. I don't care how sick McDonald's makes me.
Yeah.
Just care how it makes me feel.
Right. That's true, man. And it's sad. That's what I'm saying.
It's criminal.
Exactly. But yeah, if you don't seek this stuff out or have somebody tell you, you know, like hopefully your parents, right? But
Or hopefully,
the problem is none of
hopefully
our
a guy
parents,
you know on Facebook that never shuts up.
right? Or you know, if you happen to catch this podcast or something, but if you don't, you're just going to grow up thinking that, you know, eating 6 ounces of protein a day is
Well, why wouldn't you believe this?
optimal?
Why wouldn't you believe this?
Right. Exactly.
It's everything's spelled right. It looks nice. It's a fancy website.
Exactly. Yep. So how
They wouldn't lie.
right? And why would they? Why should they believe us? Right.
Well, for sure.
Well, what I do is I want to emulate people that have succeeded. So I look at, you know, that's why you can never be the fat trainer. You know, so when I look at the Saladinos and the Bakers and the Ted Namans of the world, they're all ripped and jacked and kicking ass.
Right.
And you look at the Dr. Gregor's, and it looks like, you know, he would snap in half at a strong breeze headed his way.
Very frail.
You know, so just for me, it resonates when people are successful and it's something you can't really hide. So, you know, I seek out trying to replicate those types of results. I don't know anybody that would want to look like Dr. Gregor, except for the fact that he's not obese. I'll give him that.
He's skinny fat though.
Skinny fat. But,
He
you
is
know,
skinny
if
fat.
he's got a suit on, he doesn't look, he doesn't look fat. I mean, I wouldn't want to see him naked.
It's weird that even entered your mind.
I'm just speculating what's under there.
So at some point you actually went, would I want to see him naked?
no,
No, I wouldn't.
I pictured it though, and I did not like it.
Oh my God. Now you made me picture it.
What's the opposite of? We need that. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah. Well, right, but I mean, you look at Ted Naiman versus Dr. Gregor, and you go, well, which one of these guys looks healthier to me?
But you're cherry picking.
Yes,
There are super buff vegans.
There's a few.
Yeah.
There's a few out there.
Yep.
But like you say all the time, what do they got in their gym bag?
Whey protein.
They're,
Or soy
they're
protein.
dry scooping it behind them.
Yeah, it could be soy protein, but you know what it is? It's 0.7 to 1.5 per grams body weight.
Yeah, they're having, because their vegan diet is not getting them there.
No.
They're going to have
It can't.
Right.
It can't.
And actually, okay, so that brings me to, this is kind of, speaking of Ted Naiman, I mean, let's just bring up actually he had, okay, let's bring up his picture here. I mean, you know what's sad about this? He's like exactly my age. I mean, so the guy's like almost 50, right?
Sad for you or him?
For me.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, you know,
I'm just checking.
yeah.
Look at him on the left. He's you.
This is great. No, not anymore. I'm in the middle, bitch.
Right. I know, but that's not funny.
This is very telling. Same weight in both photos. Ooh, right? So he's not very heavy. He's a pretty light guy. But, you know, he was probably, I don't know, like 160 or something, and then he's 160 here, but just freaking lean.
He would be in one of those gym fail videos with like 140 on the bar.
Right. He's got no muscles, and he's got, you know, he's squishy.
He's got a little bit of moobs going on.
Right. And he totally turned that around. But anyways, he has this, a really good formula for, okay, now remember, this is Ted Naiman. So we're talking about a guy who prioritizes protein. That's his whole shtick. His whole gimmick is,
Not a gimmick.
well, his whole angle that he's approaching for optimal
his
health.
Methodology.
And this is why he pisses off the keto people, pisses off the carnivore people, pisses off, you know, the standard American diet people, obviously.
It pisses off everybody because it says he doesn't go run around going, because I'm reading his book right now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't run around going to the vegans, you're wrong.
No.
Keto, you're wrong. You're wrong. He goes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're all right.
Yep.
Mostly. You're just wrong on the ratios.
You're just prioritizing the wrong thing.
Right.
That's all he says. So just so everyone knows what, his angle is that you prioritize protein, and then it almost doesn't matter if you eat carbs or fat in addition to the protein.
Yep.
Because you're eating so much protein, it's such a small percentage that it doesn't really matter that much.
You're prioritizing protein, and then you're picking carbs or fat.
Or fat.
Not and fat.
And because the amount will be limited because you prioritized protein, and protein is so satiating.
Mm-hmm.
It's real hard once you hit your protein goals to overeat on carbs or fat after the fact. Like his example, he says is, have a lean piece of chicken or eat a bunch of, and then once you hit your goals and it's a lot of protein, and then, okay, eat a potato. Well, how much of that can you possibly eat?
Right.
It's freaking gross, when it's no butter, no sour cream. You're not mixing the fat and the carbs. It's just a potato.
Yeah.
Or, a giant salad or whatever. He's not. But by definition, your amounts of those are going to be restricted because of all the protein you ate. So
well, yeah,
you can't. It's way harder to overeat.
And you're going to help yourself start identifying hunger.
Yeah.
The only reason that you say that potato by itself is just gross because you're not hungry.
Right. If you were starving, you'd eat the shit out of it.
Yeah, because it would be good.
Yep.
Hot, warm, starchy, tasty. You'd love it.
Yep. But you know what's always freaking tasty? A bag of potato chips.
Doesn't matter if you're hungry or not.
Exactly.
I could eat.
You can be stuffed.
Yeah.
And somebody hands you some Doritos.
Still
like,
some
all right.
Yeah.
What the
I can
hell?
have a couple.
But if I was stuffed after Thanksgiving dinner, somebody handed me a not raw, just a plain baked potato, I'd be like, get out of here.
I'm good.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the hyperpalatability is what makes it dangerous. So
right.
Yeah, so
and that's the combination of the sugar and the fat.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what makes it real dangerous. And we're going to get into that when we talk about the food addiction. But I wanted to talk about so we just, once you decide your protein targets, and we've talked about this before. So let's say you're hitting 1 gram per
makes it easy
per pound of body weight, you kind of know your targets. And now this is how to tell when you're looking at food and nutrition facts labels, how to tell whether something is a good source of protein or not. And his basic ratio is if the protein is, like he has an example here. So calories per serving is 130. Protein per serving is 15 grams. Multiply 15 times 10, that's 150. 150 is greater than 130, so this passes the test. So he's basically saying if the protein doesn't make up in grams isn't at least 10% or more, 10% or more of the total calories. That's a good quick way to judge when you're looking at the nutrition facts labels. So if the calories per serving was 200, it better have 20 grams of protein or don't eat it.
Sure, which is good luck.
Right, but it eliminates a lot of shit.
Beef sticks.
Right?
That's about all you can eat now.
Well, like he's got
some cheese probably.
Got some examples here. This Tillamook smoked sausage kind of jerky stuff.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Right. Well, okay, it says
meat, but he's saying that's bad.
He's saying it's bad because the protein's only 9 grams, but it's 120 calories. So he's saying the calories better be 90 or less. So the protein needs to make up a higher percentage of the calories.
Right.
Whereas
So that's
he's got, just to compare. So as a good example, he's got Sargento string cheese, 45 calories. See, that's lower calorie food, and it's got 6 grams of protein per serving. So 60 is higher than 45, obviously. So the percentage wise, you get more protein per calorie out of the Sargento string cheese than you do out of this zero sugar smoked sausages. And see, that's a little bit of a light bulb moment.
You know why?
Because I would say, and he purposely chose these examples to fuck with you because meat, you would go, oh, definitely meat's higher.
Well, yeah, I would say
he's
meat.
Saying, nope.
Look for the meat. I would always think that too.
Exactly.
But you know what else the other thing he's messing with? And everyone who listens to us, both of you that listen religiously, is gonna go, whoa, wait a second, you son of a bitches, because guess what? Click back on the
sons of bitches.
Click back on the cheese. And here we are singing Naaman's praises.
Yep.
All hail Ted. And guess why that Sargento is green and only 45 calories?
Reduced fat milk.
Low fat.
Yes, see the fucker. He fucks with me because we're coming from a keto, keto and carnivore kind of perspective where we do not demonize fat. And
Right.
we've had done episodes
Yep.
where don't be afraid of fat. Don't be afraid of fat. Fat's good. He takes a more low fat approach because he says protein should be the priority.
Stack protein. Everything else will take care of itself.
So
but pick your
fat
energy.
has to be a lower percentage.
Yep.
So I'm sitting here saying make your protein shakes with heavy cream. He's saying no, coconut milk or skim or water.
Almond is what I use.
Or almond. Yeah, something lower fat. And I'm like, fuck. Because I was like just convinced myself that the good fats and heavy cream are the best, but it's like they're so high in calories. Right?
That's why.
It's the protein to calorie ratio.
That's why he says chicken, fish,
yes. And
egg,
you know what?
egg whites.
Oh, you know what he says? He says the perfect, because people always give him shit about eggs. Like, what about eggs? They're like, nope, too much fat. He says if you make eggs, and I forget his exact ratio, but it's like 3 egg whites, one
and
egg.
one full egg.
Yeah, so that way it emulates regular eggs more than just egg whites.
Right.
But you get your protein up, calories down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, that fucks with me because I would have said eat as many eggs as you can.
And here's the funniest part, and it's making all these nutrition nerds just freaking lose their minds.
And me.
But you know what it's doing? You know what Ted's going back to? He's going back to all that bullshit bro science with the bodybuilders and their little Tupperware dishes.
Right.
And everything's coming full circle.
Yeah. Like, okay, here's the first comment. If this is the case, what about eggs? 80 calories per egg with 7 grams protein.
Egg whites. Bam.
Yeah, he says he mixes egg whites in one
Says,
egg.
how's that working for you?
No, a guy says, personally, I try to avoid reduced fat anything. In this case, I'd reject both. And he said, how's that working for you?
He's got a picture of a dog in his
Yeah,
profile,
and
so he doesn't even put himself
Ted's
there.
ripped. Yeah, exactly. And then he says, okay, here's a big one too. I'm going to disagree on this. Bacon, it's always worth eating. And Ted says, turkey bacon.
Boom.
See? Fuck.
Yeah.
I would have never bought turkey bacon. I would have said, skip that shit. Just get regular pig bacon.
That's what I have.
You got turkey bacon?
Turkey sausage.
Yeah, fuck, man. It's hard to wrap your brain around it. It's when you're prioritizing protein, by definition, fat gets limited. So it eliminates a lot of my go-tos. Ribeyes, because I was purposely going for the fattiest cut of meat.
Yep.
And he's saying no. And I used to get the fattiest ground beef I could get, 80-20, right? Not the 93-7 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking, fuck, now I gotta rethink this if I'm really trying to prioritize protein.
I have in my fridge right now, all my prepped food is 90-10 beef.
Yeah.
And chicken breast.
Right. And that's better
It's all
than
pretty
80,
low fat.
better than the 80-20. So
It's all protein. Like my lunch today was a plate about this big, half of it with the ground beef, the other half with chicken breast. And then I put that in the microwave with chopped up mini peppers. And then 2 minutes in there and it kind of steams with that little cover you put it on in the microwave. And then I put like half a jar of original, like organic fresh salsa with 0 grams of carbs, 0 sugar. And it's like a little taco bowl.
yeah.
And it's all protein, hardly any fat, and 0 carbs.
For me, it's a paradigm shift. Because I would have said before, whole eggs are like literally the perfect food, all contained in one
It's
shell.
a paradigm shift. I agree with everything Ted is saying.
He's sinking in. He's sinking in.
Unless you go keto,
right.
and then you go all fat as your fuel source. So if you go all fat as your fuel source and you cut your carbs down to nothing,
Well, as your
then you're
fuel
going to
source,
need, but then you're going to need fat. So the fattier cuts come into play.
Right, but then by definition, because in keto, what's the ratio of fat to protein? It's flipped.
Yeah, it's
70% fat.
Yeah,
Right, and he would, and that's where him and Gary Taubes go at it.
right.
See, I feel like my mommy and daddy are fighting. I don't like it because I'm a Gary Taubes disciple. Right, he was the first guy that got me into this shit at all.
But
we literally just read his book, Case for Keto, and then now
Yeah.
Ted Naiman's creeping in. Like, what do you think about this shit, huh?
But in the end, Ted's a doctor.
Yeah.
Gary's a journalist.
I know, but so is freaking Gregor, though.
Gregor's a doctor.
Dr. Gregor, yes. So I don't like that appeal to authority anyways, just because that's, like you've said before, that's just somebody who can memorize a lot.
Right, right.
You know, I want guys that have,
you're a good reader.
I want guys that have studied this stuff.
Right.
And are working with patients and are, you know, making these recommendations and seeing results. To me, that's what ultimately matters.
And Ted, you know what, one of the things that gravitates me towards Ted, Dr. Naaman,
Yep.
is both the super polarizing, the binary zealots on the far vegan side and then the far carnivore side. They
Or
can't.
far keto.
Far keto too.
Yeah.
But I put keto carnivore in the same.
Yeah,
but
kinda.
they can't poke holes in them.
Right?
They can't get to them.
No.
Neither side can get to them.
I've heard a few debates where they sort of end it and they just agree to disagree. You know, it's kind of like,
Right.
But yeah, never has he said, well, you know, you bested me.
No, and never has anybody said, and when I say they can't get to them, like go spend any amount of time on Twitter and find me where someone is blasting Ted Naaman.
Right.
That is credible.
They try. I mean, they shit on him, but then he just replies back very confidently, like, "How's that working for you?"
No. The regular everyday Twitter trolls
Yeah.
shit on him.
Right.
But I'm talking about reputable people within the nutrition space.
Yeah.
They can't get to him.
No. He's kind of crept up as a real force. It's going to be interesting in the next couple of years to see, because, you know, people like do the keto thing and then the carnivore thing, and they kind of pick their camps, you know, and you have your branding and stuff. And if you start rethinking, you know, you can't be like, let's say Paul Saladino, he's a carnivore MD, right? Well, you can't all of a sudden be like the protein guy,
Protein MD.
right? You know, you have to change your whole freaking approach.
Get that handle and sell it to them.
Exactly.
But see, that's where, and I get a lot of shit for flip flopping and changing my mind all the time.
legitimately open-minded.
I am. I really am. And if something comes along and I try something, or if something works, I'm completely transparent about it.
Yeah. That's why when we talked about Phil Collin, the guitar player from Def Leppard, being 63 and freaking shredded, and he was vegan, and, you know, I had to admit the guy's,
he didn't look like Gregor.
Exactly right. Exactly. You can't shit on him. Whatever he's doing, it's
25 years older than Gregor.
Exactly. It looks like he could be Gregor's kid.
Right.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Well, so that's a quick way to figure out if you're getting enough protein in the nutrition facts. So yeah, that's interesting stuff. Okay. Well,
Women. They're the worst violators of the protein principles.
not eating enough.
Oh, no, not even close.
Because they don't want to get big.
Yep.
Don't want to get bulky.
I want to get muscular. I don't want to get all muscular.
Like we say, no one's ever became a bodybuilder by accident.
Yeah. You're not going to accidentally get fit. Sorry.
Yeah. No shit.
In
fact, you probably have
muscles are fit.
You probably have to take some massive freaking PEDs in order to get. Have you seen this? The chick that holds like all the deadlift records, Steph
Cohen.
She's fucking got to be taking some.
No, she's natural.
You think?
Yep. Steph Cohen's natural.
I mean, her freaking shoulders are dude-like.
That's her job. She's got genetics and she works hard.
We're gonna have to do an episode on the PEDs because I've seen a few, like Greg Doucette and the More Plates, More Dates guy.
Oh yeah.
Natties or not on them.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but before we
I think that's a whole other show.
Because
people, the go-to is, well, hey, look at that guy in the Lamborghini. Trust fund.
right.
No way he worked hard.
You assume, no one ever earned it.
Look at that guy's rip. Steroids.
Right.
Nobody ever earns it. It's always cheating. It's bullshit. People do earn it. Anyways, that's the other show.
All right, that's another show. We definitely need to cover that. So we talked about protein. I came across this this website the other day, which is very telling, and we're going to do an episode on vegans coming up. But there's this thing called the Vegan YouTuber Fail Leaderboard. So this guy started tracking. He noticed vegan YouTubers would stop being vegan because they finally just they had to admit how much it was destroying their health. So he started tracking any YouTuber vegan star that had more than 100,000 followers on YouTube.
First of all, bro, get a life. But anyways, go on.
Well, he's trying to
I get it.
keep track of misinformation and bullshit because vegan is very in vogue right now. It's very popular. The whole food plant-based, game changers, all this shit. And a lot of people are following these people because they are very, pretty and they, shoot highly edited videos and stuff. And it's really appealing. So, but it's funny that most of them start dropping off. So of the list he started, there was 100 basically, and 44 have quit or no longer vegan anymore.
Because it's hard. Jenna Marbles vegan.
And their health failed so spectacularly. They tried to hang on as long as they could. Like, who
Did
John
their
Venus,
health deteriorate?
Yeah, you know who John Venus is?
No.
He was a vegan bodybuilder. He got busted because on his own YouTube video, there were some eggs in the fridge and viewers caught it.
Of course.
He finally had to admit, yes, I ate eggs because he could not make it work.
I've been snorting protein.
He couldn't make it work.
No, of course he couldn't.
So, there's all these
We
stars.
covered that.
Right.
That's a real thing.
Yep. So, yeah.
See, I bet you that Logan
Logan
Paul, I bet he quit because he had to fight.
Right.
And he did. And he won.
Exactly. And there's this raw Vanna. I think she was the one that got busted with some fish on her plate.
Oh, seriously?
And
I'm pescatarian.
Right. And then she had to come clean.
That's a ribeye.
Because her hormones were being destroyed.
Mike Tyson quit?
Yeah, he's not vegan.
What?
Or like that Kai.
He was all in.
The Kai Green guy.
Kai Green didn't quit, did he?
Oh, yeah. He just advertised some
he couldn't
fake meat for a while, and then he went right back to
So Mike Tyson quit.
Yeah, he's no longer vegan.
So that's actually kind of sad.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, there's of the ones that he's tracked, half
high carb Hannah.
Yeah, half have given it up. So I'll put the link in the show notes. Of course, you can.
I'm just interested in the famous people. Tori Stern. No, I was thinking spelling.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny list. But man, if you go and check out some of these people, I mean, some are very
Vegan Gains.
Oh, that guy's such a douche. Yeah, here's the John Venus one. So I don't know if this will just bring up his YouTube.
Hello, everyone. John here. Welcome.
Yeah, so there's I mean,
I'm no longer vegan, but now
Yeah, how to deal with hate featuring Vegan Gains.
Now my bench went up 75 pounds.
And he was like crying and apologizing when he, had to admit that he couldn't do vegan anymore.
But he wasn't well.
Right. He wasn't not well. And it just about
wrecked him. I'm interested to see what he's doing now.
Yeah. Well, check out his channel if you want to.
I'll look into that later.
What I eat in a day and all that kind of stuff. He covers all that. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting to
really,
see
if it was optimal for you, why wouldn't you thrive on it and not have to quit the diet, right?
Because you weren't healthy.
I know, but I'm saying it's pretty obvious
why you quit.
It's not optimal,
right?
If you're having to quit doing it and you want to hang on because that's his source of income. Being a vegan YouTube star was his total claim to fame. So you want to hang on to that as hard as you can. So you're going to try to make it work way longer than you probably should. So it's kind of interesting. And, there's all these ex-vegans now that are coming out and talking about it.
I'm interested to find out what his actual health concerns were.
Right. But he made a whole video crying and talking about, he didn't want to deceive people and he tried, but he just couldn't. He was just unhealthy.
It could have been genuine. I give people benefit of the doubt.
Well, I think he is genuine. He tried to make it. He tried as hard as he could, and he could not ignore the facts.
Right. Yep.
Because we always say,
science wins.
You can't be a fat trainer. Well, if he's a bodybuilder and he's trying to be an optimal fitness, he could not make it work, and he was seeing all kinds of other nasty hormonal effects. So I want to talk about this story here.
I really want to see this movie, by the way.
Mark Wahlberg. Okay,
have you been watching Wall Street?
You mean the stock market?
No.
Or what do you mean?
the reality show
No,
on
no, he's got
HBO
a-
Max.
He's got a documentary. No,
It's a reality docudrama reality
about Mark Wahlberg.
about him and his businesses.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's
okay.
called Wall Street, spelled Wahl. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's pretty good.
These guys know how to make the cash. I tell you that. I mean, his whole family.
He's got
They got the Wahlburgers.
which would all fail if it wasn't for him.
Well,
The
true.
premises and the concepts behind them are complete bullshit. Like F45, his fitness clubs. It's just a ripoff of CrossFit.
They're just using his name,
Yep.
basically. But I thought it was interesting though that because he prides himself on being super ripped all the time, right? And he's in his 40s now,
Yep.
and for this role he had to gain 20, and he's going up another 20. He's going to be 40 chunky
What?
above his.
He has to be fat?
Yeah, he's going to
He
be
has to
fat
be thick.
because he's going to be a fat former boxer for this role. So it's after his
Oh.
boxing career, and
Okay, that's not
Lets
the movie I
himself
was
go.
thinking of. Okay.
then he becomes a priest, I think. So it's kind of funny because look at him.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that gut, man. How much is that? He hate that.
Oh, he despises it.
Just imagine him walking by a mirror every day and just going, damn, because for 30 years he's been jacked and pretty lean.
But guess what? It's like what Bill Burr's bit. When Bill Burr talks about people getting fat,
yeah.
he's like, that picture, Marky Mark on the right, that took nothing. That took, well, how'd you do that?
did
I
that.
did nothing.
He did it in a few weeks,
I did nothing.
3 weeks ago.
Right.
And now he's already up this much. So you can destroy yourself in no time.
Yep.
And it's going to take him a lot longer than 3 weeks to get back down to this. But not as long as a regular person because he's got that muscle memory and he'll go right back to the discipline that he had before.
Well, because it'll be for a new role or because he has an image to uphold and
Yep.
he has public appearances. And
Yeah, you can't walk around the beach looking like this.
that's not Marky Mark.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, craziness.
You don't get to be Marky Mark by looking like that Marky Mark.
I always wonder, Christian Bale is the one that's fascinates me the most because he went from, I think it'd be easy to get fat. I mean, you just
I can
drink
prove
a bunch
it.
of milkshakes.
I can prove it. Dare me.
Yeah, no shit. That's easy to do.
Right.
Christian Bale went from regular dude to jacked for Batman, right? Like pretty muscular, pretty ripped,
Yep.
to freaking looking like a Holocaust victim for The Machinist,
Yes.
like 100 pounds, like
Yeah.
nothing,
Yep.
literally starving to death. That can't be good for you.
Emaciated.
That can't be good for you long term, like
No, but it's
for
not
your
long term.
hormones and.
He just did it for a movie.
But I wonder if he has effects from that. If you get down to
Nah, probably not.
No
Short
muscle.
term, just to shoot a movie. But if you did it all the time,
how
if
much
you
does that
yo-yoed,
suck though?
it would have been miserable. You know what? How much?
You'd be hungry non-freaking stop.
I don't know. I'm sure he had some medical intervention.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you find out all
Take
these.
some Glen. Next thing you know, you're 118 pounds.
Well, even I think Marky Mark is on TRT,
Okay.
especially these older stars that are
Oh,
still
yeah.
hanging on a lot of muscle. They're a lot of times they're taking the old testosterone,
We have to.
which now is completely accepted. It's not even.
I do it.
It doesn't seem like it's cheating. It just seems like
I've been doing it for 18 months.
wow.
2 years.
Now is that
I was drastically low.
because you're an anomaly, like your levels, just your body just wasn't doing what it's supposed to do,
Yep. Yeah, it was medical.
or is it just because of age it just starts to drop for everybody?
Both.
Yeah.
But normal range is 350 to 950. I was 176.
Holy shit,
Yep.
that's low.
Yeah.
So
Now it's quality of life.
how
When
do you
you're
have
that low.
how do you have to take it? Is it like a pill?
Injection.
Injections. Okay.
Yep.
Straight up.
Straight up shots.
So it's like that's what
Shots.
you and Mark Wahlberg taking the pins,
But
getting pinned.
everyone's like, oh, so you're doing steroids. No. And we'll do a show on
You're
this.
just getting up to regular
Just getting up
level.
to normal levels.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like if you were a diabetic, if you were a type 1 diabetic and your body wasn't making insulin, what would you do? You'd take
Right.
some to get there.
I take steroids.
That's all I'm
Oh, wait.
doing.
Is
Yeah.
that the
Well,
right
you
answer?
kind of would. It's a hormone.
Right.
So I strongly urge any male over 50 to go get tested. Because if you get super sleepy or if you're having trouble with perfect timing. If you're having trouble with that, there's not as much wind in the sail, if you will. That all goes away. Wow. Trust me.
Yeah, right.
So it's worth getting checked out.
Yeah,
at least peace of mind, just to know.
Well, and just for like being in shape.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's why these guys are using this stuff, and that's why guys that are 21 use it too, because they just want to.
Well, and here's the
be
difference.
even more,
And here's the difference. I take 1 milliliter once a week.
Right.
Guys that are doing air quotes steroids are taking like 3,000 milliliters,
Right, yeah.
like twice a week.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just.
Yeah,
They're trying to go cray cray.
Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions, and I beg you, literally, I beg you, go for your quality of life, go check it out.
Is that a blood test?
Yep.
So they can tell the level of testosterone right
Yep.
in the blood.
Yep.
Good idea. All right. Well, let's get into our term of the week here, which is muscle protein synthesis. So
Stick with the theme.
Yep. So this is, talking about eating protein. We're talking about being vegan, and then people can't maintain the vegan lifestyle. How much protein should you eat versus keto, and the fat to protein ratios, all this stuff. So muscle protein synthesis. Here, I'll just read this definition here. So protein is the building block of muscles. Muscle protein synthesis is a naturally occurring process in which protein is produced to repair muscle damage caused by intense exercise. It is an opposing force to muscle protein breakdown, MPB, in which protein is lost as a result of exercise. And now what are you doing when you're benching and going to failure? You're trying to cause tears in that muscle fiber, right? That's actually what is happening, and that causes
that's hypertrophy.
Exactly, and that causes the muscle protein breakdown, and then this process kicks in, MPS, muscle protein synthesis, to repair that. And guess what it needs?
Protein.
Yeah, I mean, it's freaking right there. It's not saying muscle carb synthesis.
No.
It's saying muscle protein synthesis.
So,
that's why vegans typically are not muscular on average.
Yep. And then if you check your email, I sent a graphic that, because people are going to say, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but people are going to say, well, why didn't you, or so then what should we eat? So we can show them that graphic a little later.
Yeah, talk about what you think muscle protein synthesis, was this something you were aware of?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very 90s bodybuilder. Get your protein in within your anabolic window and blah, blah, blah. So it's been pretty common. So yeah.
So it says PDCAAS, the PDCAAS of some common protein sources. So is that basically amount of protein?
It's branched chain amino acids. Yeah.
Oh, branched chain. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. So milk. Oh, that's why whey protein that's why all these protein shakes or protein powders are made of whey.
Bingo.
Okay, that's high.
And that's
egg
why,
white.
remember when I said
White?
Not the ribeyes, but egg whites, tuna, chicken.
Yes.
Yep. Beef
Right.
is right there.
So whey, egg white,
soybean.
tuna, and chicken are the highest branched chain amino acid containing proteins. And then beef is right under. Then the soy protein isolate, that's another thing they make powders out of, right?
That allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about that.
Allegedly, soy protein boosts your estrogen.
Yeah, I've heard that from carnivores. Kind of,
You'll
that's
get
their way of shitting on the vegans.
Man boobs.
Right. That's why that old joke I heard was, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. The way to a vegan's heart is through his vagina.
That's sexist.
It's something. Okay, this is an interesting chart here. So beef, then soybean protein isolate, cashews, edamame. Interesting.
Basically soybeans. Cashews, though, watch out.
Yeah, cashews are full of calories, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
calories will bite you in the ass.
Then
It's like 7,000 calories for 4 cashews.
Then pea protein concentrate, then just says
It's PEA,
vegetables.
by the
I like,
way.
I like how it just says vegetables.
Yeah.
Like, is there no difference between all the different millions of vegetables out there? House cricket.
Chocolate covered.
What
crickets.
the F? Kidney bean. I almost said kidney bears. I'm like, what the hell is that? Kidney beans, fresh fruit, rolled oats, peanut meal, wheat gluten, and almonds.
Almonds. How many times do you hear people eating almonds going, oh, good source of protein? Says who?
Yeah.
Why did you, who told you that?
Not this chart. This chart doesn't
Well,
say
nobody
it.
does. People just make shit up. It's got to get protein in. So I'm eating
So again-
almonds, the worst possible food you can bake.
So here I'm getting crushed again because it says egg whites.
You can buy them by the carton at Costco.
I know. I think I need to buy some egg white and then throw in a real egg, for every certain amount or whatever.
You know what I don't like about egg whites, though? They taste like shit.
Compared to because fat tastes freaking good, and that's why the yolk is so.
Well, they're hard to cook, too. You got to have the
that's why you got
perfect
to
temperature.
mix an egg in. That's why even Naaman says,
I just put it in my shake,
yeah, that works too. Wow.
like Rocky.
He was chugging whole eggs. He should have chugged
True.
egg whites.
Right. He would have won in
That-
the first one.
Dummy. He doesn't know what he's doing. All right, so that's muscle protein synthesis. So basically, that's the process that repairs the muscle after muscle protein breakdown, when protein is lost as a result of exercise. So if you're trying to get fitter and grow your muscles, I mean, how important is protein to support this process?
Scientists measured intensity by something called a one-rep repetition.
Yep, the one rep max, one repetition maximum, meaning the maximum weight you can lift for one rep. Oh, and it goes into a little bit of, it's basically saying if you lift under 40% of your one rep max, you will not generate this muscle protein synthesis. Meaning, let's say your maximum bench press was 100 pounds. You better not be doing reps of under 60 pounds. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve this. Even if exercising to failure, low intensity exercise will do little to increase MPS, and as such will not increase muscle mass. That's interesting. Because you would think, let's say I'm at home and let's say I can bench 100 pounds just for round numbers, right? And all I have is, 25-pound dumbbells. So that's 50 pounds, right? And I would just say, well, just do more reps. What they're saying here is because of the lack of intensity per rep, you're not going to stimulate the muscle enough. You have to be at least at 60 pounds or higher in order to trigger that stimulus.
So, this is proof that you can just put anything on the internet.
Well, I did type this up earlier.
Right. The anabolic window, or your protein window within 30 minutes, blah, 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 has been pretty debunked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I didn't mention that, because I've heard that same thing.
Yeah, but it mentions it in the article where it says to make sure you get it
So-
within 30 minutes.
What do you think about what I just said, though, or what I just
I agree
read?
with that. I agree with that high rep.
So intensity is more. So basically, keep your sets to 60% of your one rep max.
That's why they make
or
T-shirts that say lift heavy shit.
more. Lift heavy, yeah.
They don't make T-shirts that say lift moderate weights.
So you need to figure out what your one rep max is, and then
You
state,
can't do anything without it.
Yeah.
you need to establish a one rep max for which ones?
The 5 big lifts.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Yeah, that's interesting though, and otherwise you're just really freaking spinning your wheels, and it takes longer. Because if you're doing 50 pounds, I'll just do more reps. It's like, well, you want to take longer and get less results?
I love your epiphany moment.
Yeah.
I do, but this is pretty common knowledge.
Why are you so mean? We're talking to regular people
I know,
out here, bro. Jim, bro.
Right, I agree. And that's awesome. People need to hear this, but it's just one of those things where you're like,
See, I'm looking at the world through a child's eyes.
all right.
I'm looking at nutrition and fitness through a child's eyes, and I have a sense of wonder and naivete.
See now,
So let me enjoy it.
See now, now I know what you feel like during the day when you're doing IT shit, and you're like, I can't log on my computer, and then you tell them, can't believe you didn't know this.
I'm very empathetic at all times.
Did you try it backslash?
I'm nothing but empathetic at all times. And we never shit on anybody after we walk away.
Right. You're not the Nick, the company's IT guy.
Exactly.
It's the best SNL skit ever.
Yeah, so my big takeaway from that, well, two takeaways. You got to eat, you got to hit your protein targets to support this process, and you got to lift with high intensity, not more reps, lower reps, higher intensity in order to support that muscle growth.
And if you're going to lift with a 60% or above, actually preferably around 60%, have a spotter.
Yeah, it's
Unless you want to end up in our gym fail.
yeah, watch
feature.
one of our reaction videos where we see a bunch of people failing at various lifts. All right, so that was muscle protein synthesis, everyone. All right, well, like I said in the intro to the show, hi, I'm Josh. I'm a sugaraholic, right? So we're going to talk about food addiction, carb addiction, sugar addiction, just whatever you want to.
Is it real?
Is it real? Is it bullshit? Well, let's pull up the actual definition and just see if it fits. Here's the definition, not of food addiction, just of addiction, and see if we can
The
apply
word
this to food.
addiction.
The word addiction. The state of being compulsively committed to a habit or practice or to something that is psychologically or physically habit forming, as narcotics, to such an extent that its cessation causes severe trauma.
How the fuck is it not sugar?
You just described me
How is it not sugar?
trying to get off sugar.
See, I'm going to get pissed off. That pisses me off when these nerds on the internet are like, it's not technically, it's not the clinical definition of addiction unless it's releasing serotonin. Shut up. I'm going to punch you right in the throat.
You sound
If
like,
you have problems not eating it,
yeah.
then you're addicted.
Yeah.
I don't care what you want to call it.
You have problems stopping.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. And if you're mentally, like you said, when you were stopping chewing or whatever, you said the nicotine gets out of your system.
In 36 hours.
Yeah. So you knew that it wasn't that anymore. It was psychological.
Yeah. Then knew I was just being a bitch.
Yeah. And then you had to, at that point, it's just discipline,
Right.
and but people think that the sugar or the carb, and I guess we should define what we're talking about. I mean, it's sort of food addiction, but for me, the biggest, and maybe this is different for everybody, but for me, it's the highly processed carbohydrates and sugar. That's the things that affect me negatively when I consume them or overconsume them. And it's hard to stop eating them.
Because they were designed in a fucking laboratory to be addictive.
To be hyper freaking so hyper palatable, like Gary Taubes coined when I first read his Good Calories, Bad Calories, that you just want to keep going.
Right.
I mean, like we talked in our first episode, how when we realized we had problems, and here's another parallel to addiction, serious like alcohol or drug addiction. I don't want to minimize or say that it's necessarily the same. Yeah, kicker. I don't want to minimize people's real struggles with alcohol and drugs by saying, me wanting Oreos is similar, because obviously it's not life ruining, as bad.
It could be.
It
Just takes longer.
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to draw some parallels to it.
You can eat a bag of Oreos and still drive to work.
Exactly. I want to
still take care of your kids.
But I want to say there is a lot of parallels to it, though.
For sure.
For me, I can't eat those in moderation.
Nope, it's impossible.
It's so it has to be abstinence. So that's why fasting is such a powerful tool for me, because if I'm just going, well, I'm not eating this today, or until supper or whatever, it's a lot easier for me to, instead of somebody scripted out a nutrition plan and it said you get 3 Oreos, you get this much pasta, and you get a steak or whatever, I'd be like, don't even put that shit on there.
Just give me another half of a steak.
Right. Because it triggers the monster.
Yeah.
And the junkie. And next thing you're selling your mom's shit.
Right.
You're going through people's
Dad's new weed whackers at the pawn shop.
Right.
So I could buy some Chips Ahoy.
Exactly. I mean, it's funny because that's what happens to me.
Oh,
I mean, it's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm fasting and feeling great, like I do I just did, before our last episode, I did a 3-day, feeling awesome. The minute I put a piece of candy or anything like that in my mouth, I'm like,
Well,
it's
yeah.
literally animalistic. And you
It
feel
is.
like, and you're searching it out.
Yep.
It's freaking scary. I mean, it's so, again, not to minimize people with real drug and alcohol problems, but it's similar in its hold that it has on you. Of course, the effects aren't as devastating unless they kill you through type 2 diabetes and heart attacks and stuff. But it mentally and psychologically, to me, it's just as hard to stop, especially when in society, it's completely not only tolerated, but encouraged,
Celebrated.
and
Watch
literally
TV and look at the
celebrated.
commercials. Oh, yeah.
What do you do for birthdays? It's literally when you're
What do you do
celebrating,
in any cultural celebration up in the upper Midwest?
eat
Gotta
your
eat.
ass off.
What are we going to eat? What do you got to eat?
Hot dish,
Got to feed them.
hot dish and buns. Oh yeah. I mean, it's so, you're fighting against that because it's like if you walked into your grandma's house and she just and you're trying to be sober and she just handed you 5 beers and said, "Here, this is what we're having." I mean, it's like I said, it's celebrated. So it's psychologically very similar.
Oh, come on. It's just one time. It's just one celebration.
Right.
You don't understand, Granny.
Yeah.
It's one celebration, but I'm going to leave here and stop at the Snickers store.
The Snicker store.
It's on the way
liquor
home.
store. The Snicker store.
See?
Holy
Freudian slip.
That's freaking
I'm
funny.
going to be
man.
stopping at Dairy Queen on the way home.
Dude.
Getting a Snickers Blizzard.
What did you say? When somebody was
I don't know. It's probably funny.
having trouble sticking to their diet, and you said, "Yeah, there's probably a freaking thing of Fig Newtons under her car seat."
Oh, right.
That happens.
For sure it does. People hide it. I've talked to
yeah.
people. I've talked to people who used to, their wives would say, "Honey, I want you to be able to be here for our children. I need you healthy. Can you do that for me?"
And you're thinking like they must be pounding down, wild turkey and stuff, and they're hiding it in
Right.
their dresser drawers. But
Right.
no, it's food, right?
Yeah. And I talked to these people, and they're like, "Yeah, my wife would pleaded with me," and I said, "All right, honey, this is it. I'm going to do it." And joined the gym, and I started running every day, and I started eating perfect. And then after about a month, I would literally stop at McDonald's on my way home and scarf down a number 2 or whatever they are now. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And then come home and eat dinner.
Holy shit! He just had to get his fix first.
Just because he
On
would
the
get
sly.
home. Well, he'd get home and he'd have
A reasonable small,
chicken breast and
healthy-
the rest and a bunch of steamed broccoli and a glass of lukewarm tap water.
right? Which was not hitting the spot.
No, he's
It didn't
looking.
scratch that itch at all.
No. So then he'd get home and this is delicious, honey. And then he'd scarf it down and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm stuffed." Well, yeah, because you just had 900 calories in one burger, plus fries and a milkshake.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and he's hiding it. He's sneaking it.
And if that's not a hallmark
Right. If
of
yeah,
addiction,
it's exactly the same. Again, the life consequences might not be as dire, but it's very similar.
immediately dire.
So here's on WebMD talking about food addiction. So it says the idea that a person can be addicted to food has recently gained increasing support. That comes from brain imaging and other studies of the effects of compulsive overeating on the pleasure centers in the brain. Boom, see right there. Experiments in animals and humans show that for some people, the same reward and pleasure centers of the brain that are triggered by addictive drugs like cocaine and heroin are also activated by food, especially highly, or as Gary Tobbs would say, hyper palatable foods. Highly palatable foods are rich in sugar, fat, salt. I mean, a freaking donut. That's why donuts are so freaking good.
That's the ingredients for a donut.
Exactly. It's engineered to make you want more of it. The only reason you stop eating donuts is because you're literally fucking stuffed.
Stuffed or social pressure.
Yeah, you don't want to look like a
Like,
complete
Josh, is that your 5th? It's like on The Office when Kevin was eating those brownies. And Andrew's like, "Do you even taste them?
pig.
Or are you just swallowing them whole?"
I love when he dropped the whole thing of chili.
Oh, that's the worst.
Okay, like addictive drugs, highly palatable foods trigger feel-good brain chemicals such as dopamine. Once people experience pleasure associated with increased dopamine transmission in the brain's reward pathway from eating certain foods, they'll quickly feel the need to eat again. I mean, there you go.
Because they're hungry.
That's why you overeat Doritos.
Because they think.
No one's ever had 4 Doritos. It just doesn't happen.
Well, yeah.
But I can eat eggs and a steak and be like, all right, that was good.
Yep.
I'm done. I don't be like, I'm not like literally prowling around in the kitchen looking for more steak.
What else is there?
I'm satiated.
Yep.
And that goes back to the first time we mentioned Ted Naiman a bunch of episodes ago was the satiety per calorie.
Yep.
Right? Because a steak and eggs is way high on the satiety.
People are just like, I just need a fix.
Yeah.
Like baking chips, like chocolate chips used for baking
Yeah.
to satisfy their sugar craving.
Yep.
It's like an alcoholic drinking.
A teeny little shot and just trying to.
No, it's like them rummaging through the house and drinking vanilla.
Right. Exactly.
Vanilla extract.
Or
It's
cough
like
syrup.
Taking a shot. Right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Compulsive overeating. So, and a lot of times people say, well, it's just their willpower. These people, they're fat just because they can't control it. Well, we don't say that about alcoholics. Right?
No.
We say it's a real disease and, they have to be treated as such. So now if the science is stating that food can be equally as addictive, then don't you have to apply the same type of principles? How do you break that? I mean, I struggle because we're not
going
a kind of like suck it up kind of dude, like just white knuckle it, do what you have to do kind of guy.
But we're not the right people to have this debate because we're not going to debate.
Right.
But the people who would debate us say, no, it's just the relationship with food. That's the root.
And some of that's true, like the patterns you've established, or I don't know if you've just the patterns you've established over your life. Like if you were ever in a family that ate in front of the TV,
right?
That's a bad one.
Yeah, we weren't.
Or every time you watched, well, for me, here's a big one. I can't go to a movie and not snack. So
because it's part of the experience.
Oh, and I just have associated those two together.
Well, yeah, it's part of the experience.
Long,
it's a
right?
tradition.
But when I'm trying to diet and eat properly, I should not. I mean, you just go to the damn movie, right? So, but it's very hard to do.
Agreed. So plan for it.
Right. So either abstain or have your meat stick or whatever. Don't have the popcorn and the Twizzlers and the.
Depends on your goals.
Right. But I'm saying if you're somebody that's trying to stop, which for me, carbs are the lever, right? The processed sugars and the carbs are the lever. So I can't go to the movie and eat the popcorn and the Twizzlers. So that's not part of my plan. So now I have to either just go there and just be like, I just have to be okay with just watching the damn movie. Or I got to, have some jerky or whatever.
Yeah.
So that I'm not completely crushing my plans. But I still have that, same kind of, and that's the question is, do you try to rid yourself of the habit or do you just modify and eat some beef jerky and say, all right, well, at least I didn't eat popcorn and Twizzlers.
I've learned to have the popcorn and Twizzlers.
Oh.
And just and balance around it.
Then there's a difference between food addiction and alcohol addiction because you would never, ever say to an alcoholic, just go, it's New Year's Eve, just go have the 3 shots of vodka.
Because the risk versus, but you know what? That science is changing. There's a ton of science suggesting right now that there's many, many, many recovering alcoholics could do that and be just fine.
Could socially drink?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
But risk versus reward.
Yeah, right.
They're
why even,
no way.
Why would I even risk it?
Why would I risk the last 10 years of my life that I just gave to straightening it out and becoming clean?
No shit.
Just to see.
Because just from my own behavior, I know that if I have the Twizzlers, then it's like stopping at the Snicker store on the way home.
Right.
You've awakened the beast.
See, you
have to know yourself, I guess.
I've gotten to the point where, I'm lucky because if I go to a movie, we get a large popcorn, to share with the three of us.
Right.
And then we each get our own pop. I'm not a big popcorn person.
But you don't have it now having Twizzlers and Milk Duds.
No.
With it.
No, once in a while.
See, that's me. I go over the freaking.
If I haven't eaten and my calories are in check, or if I know I have like a super hard workout, I'm going to burn 5,000 calories tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll get Junior Mints.
Okay.
But Emmy will eat half of them.
But it doesn't start you down a spiral
No,
of overconsumption.
no, because
See, for me,
because
it does.
it's there.
Right.
It's not at the house.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not a bunch of them in the cupboard.
That's a big point. That's a good point too. And for me, I had to tell my wife, we can't have this shit in the house.
Right.
If it's in there, the beast is gonna come out.
Yep.
And you're not gonna be able to hide it.
Yep. And then she gives you, that's your problem, not mine. I'm buying it.
No.
Good luck.
And luckily she doesn't. But thing is, all of a sudden, I can never find, like, if I'm looking for something, I can never find it. If there's carbs in the house, I'm finding that shit.
Oh, yeah. Where are my keys? I don't know.
I turned into a truffle pig all of a sudden. Like, the shit's not getting
Can't
away
find
from
my
me.
goddamn car keys anywhere. But I know there's cookies under that second drawer behind the Tupperware.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about, here's another site. It's actually called foodaddictioninstitute.org. So it says, every day in casual conversation, we hear people say, I'm a junk food junkie. I'm a chocoholic. I need my sugar fix. That reminds me of remember The Onion?
Yeah.
They had a hilarious headline, 10, 15 years ago that says, I'm like a chocoholic, but for booze. Very funny.
Clever.
So yeah, here's this point we were just making. It can be difficult for people to take food addiction seriously. However, for anyone that is currently struggling with true food addiction, aka food dependency or food-related substance use disorder, that's new, it can be very serious. For most, the road has undoubtedly been long and difficult. Today, the vast majority of people, including those in the medical community, don't understand why or how people can become addicted to certain foods. Happily, this is changing as more and more scientific evidence becomes available.
Exactly. And when I said before, we don't have, you and I are just going to agree. So it's not really going to be a traditional debate.
No.
But the thing is there are people out there right now in the nutrition space who will, to the death, argue that there's no such thing.
That it's not even anywhere close.
No, there's nothing.
You can never call
it
it
does
an
not
addiction.
exist. It's not an addiction.
It's just a lack
an
of
unhealthy
willpower.
relationship with
Or
food.
just a lack of willpower.
Right.
Say. Yeah. That's, yeah.
So it's just complete bullshit. But
Again, and then how do you solve it? Because, again, you can't abstain. Like you can, if you're hooked on heroin, you just don't do heroin, and you don't need to consume heroin every day to live, just like you do need to consume food. So
True.
That's tough. Like how do you fix it? And,
True.
I don't know. For me, it is literally just discipline and willpower.
for you brought up a good point a couple of weeks ago when you
I'll
said
say.
that, when you said first time for everything. When you said that, but the flip argument is people say, well, see, when you're an alcoholic, you don't need alcohol to live. You need food to live.
Right.
But you still drink water.
Yeah, you do have to drink. Yeah.
So you're still
yeah,
drinking.
I saw somebody say that.
So
Yeah. But like heroin, that's why I used heroin specifically.
Oh, okay,
Because,
okay.
you don't have to inject heroin
right, you don't
to
have
survive.
Right.
You just have to abstain.
Right.
Whereas, basically you're saying, don't eat this, but eat that instead. But you still have to go through the motions and the behaviors of eating, and you have to do it every day.
More importantly, so you have to be around people who eat those shitty foods
Oh, yeah.
constantly.
Well,
And
even,
then those people are a lot of times, even the people who care about you the most, the closest to you, will say right to your face, tough hop, that's your problem.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Or I've had this too, when I was just eating a ton of meat. Some very intelligent family members say, Jesus, clog your damn arteries doing that.
Right.
I mean, they're just shitting on
Yep.
what you have learned to be the healthiest and works for you and keeps you off the carbs.
Yep.
And they're saying, boy, that ain't good.
I'm working hard. My numbers are down. I've
Yeah.
never been fitter.
And they're shitting on
Yeah.
what you're making healthy choices. And they're going, I'm going to clog your damn arteries doing that, or say you're ruining the environment, or, you're killing the animals, all the arguments that the typical vegans have
Right.
against eating meat.
Right.
But yeah, that peer pressure is a real thing, even from people that love you
Right.
in your immediate family. And I think a lot of it, well, it's just reflexive learned behavior.
Yep.
Because you think red meat equals all those bad things.
Sure.
So you want to shit on it. But, man.
There's also a certain component to the food part that there is that parallels the booze part. And that is, well, you were so much more fun when you were drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you'd be way more fun if you
Ate these
ate these nachos with us
pizza
instead of just sitting there with your arms crossed.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So then what do?
The peer pressure.
You stop going.
Yep.
Hey, we're going for nachos, happy hour nachos. Well, I'm not going to do any of those things. And I talk to people all day at work anyways.
Yeah.
So see you Monday.
Yep. That's tough. Well, because like you said last week or the week before, you might have to get new friends.
Right.
Because if you're a fat dude and you're going to get turned into the healthy dude, you might not be hanging out with the same people 2 years later.
And it might not be your choice.
Well, right.
They
They
might say, I just can't stand this.
Yeah, you're just freaking annoying. All you
Yeah.
talk about is pumping iron. And,
Even if you don't talk about it, though, what they see in themselves what they know, they see in you what they know they need to do.
right.
And it's a constant reminder of how shitty they're living. And they
And,
just don't want that reminder.
Yeah, it's too in their face.
You could not say a fucking word, not one word, and they'll be like, well, you're just so preachy. I didn't say anything.
Right. That's why I actively try not to shit on people that I know are eating like complete shit in front of me.
Yep.
Because like you say all the time, watch your own bobber, right?
Right.
I mean, if somebody asks for my advice, I'll tell them. But, if I'm at work and they're chowing down donuts, it's like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
I won't say anything. I don't care. And if they'll offer me one, I'll be like, no, thanks.
Yeah. And then
But I don't I don't launch into listen to my podcast. I'll tell you why that's stupid. I just,
Yeah, I don't, contrary to what people might think based on my social media persona, I don't do that either. But when people say, what do you care? Is it your job? Oh, yeah, kind of.
yeah, right. Or if they ask your opinion.
Yep.
But,
Or if they ask for help.
right.
The problem, the thing I struggle with the most, though, is when I see blatant food addiction, and especially when people say it doesn't exist, but when I see people struggling with food, I just want to grab them by the face and go,
Yeah.
I can help you.
Yeah, this doesn't have to be this way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, one thing I just thought of, too, when people say, there's no such thing as food addiction, there's
Lack of willpower.
disordered eating and an unhealthy relationship with food. You've never seen an obese people you've never sat down with an obese person and had them bawling uncontrollably saying, I can't stop eating.
Right.
I cannot stop.
Well,
So
yeah,
tell me again,
exactly.
there's no addiction.
Exactly. Well, think about how difficult it is to maintain the level of calories they have to put in their mouths every day. Like
Right.
when you watch that 600-pound life show,
Yep.
they're stuck in their bed. That
Right.
means they have tricked somebody into funneling food their
Yep.
way.
Yep.
Because all they would have to
Someone's
do is
enabling
just
them.
eat, not eat. If that person just didn't bring them as much food, they would start dropping weight like crazy.
Even if they just had to get up.
Right. So it takes a tremendous amount of effort to get that much food in your stomach every day.
Right.
Just like, have you ever watched the show Intervention on A&E where
No, I hate it.
they find,
It's so
drug addicts and they confront them eventually and have
Yeah,
an
I
intervention
don't
and
like
hopefully
it.
take them off.
I like laughing.
Right. But the funny thing is, well, not funny, but the interesting thing is they have to work so freaking hard to keep that addiction going
Oh, right.
because money just doesn't fall out of the sky. They got to turn tricks. They got to steal from people. They got to
Yep.
go out there and work.
Right.
I mean, so they're putting serious effort into acquiring the substance.
Yep.
It doesn't just get handed to them. So,
Whereas
it's
food is Little Debbie's are 99 cents.
true, but but again, like a 600-pound life, they have
Oh,
to work
someone
hard to
has to
shovel it in.
Yep.
So it's not from a lack of effort because they're putting out
Oh,
a ton
right,
of effort
right,
into either
right.
acquiring that much food or acquiring that much drugs.
Correct.
So they're, it's not like they're being lazy. In fact, they're working extra freaking hard
Yeah.
to acquire this stuff. So it's really just that you need to refocus that power, that effort.
That's why I get super pissed off when I hear people like other nutrition coaches or people that are in that nutrition space. And they say, I've sat with that person who's crying uncontrollably
Right.
and says, I just can't fucking stop eating. I just can't control myself.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have it in the house, I go buy it and I scarf it down in my car.
Again, it takes effort.
I can't control myself. And then you have people within this space going, well, work with me. I'll teach you how to eat those foods and still live your life and eat those foods you love and still lose weight.
Yeah.
They have fucking no clue
That's the whole.
that they're sabotaging them.
That's why the whole Nutrisystem commercial is all like melty pizza being pulled, and
Right.
ice cream and brownies.
And that's why when I talk to people, that people are like, all right, Dwayne, I'm done. I need to hire you. And the first thing I do is I say, this isn't going to be rosy. You're not going to eat the foods that got you here.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone's told you in the past. It's not about pizza and cookies, but just in portions. At least not right now.
Right.
Not right now.
Because of the addictive.
You're not going to be able to
nature.
eat the foods that got you here.
Exactly.
Not for a while. And and I don't care if you work with me or who you work with, but anyone telling you differently is lying to you.
Right.
You're not going to get to eat those foods.
Yeah,
Stop lying to
you
people.
might eventually, like you said, get to the point where you can be a person who eats those in moderation, of which I am not one, and I know that. And you've reached that point where you can go to the movie, you can have a little bit of popcorn. I'm better off just either fasting during the movie or eating some beef jerky. And, maybe people can get there, but that's years down the road.
Yeah, it could be years.
Could be years.
But anyone, again, I'll reiterate it, and I can't say it enough. If there's a company out there or a nutrition coach out there or a program or whatever it is, I don't care. If they're telling you that, come work with me and you'll be able to still eat the foods you love, run.
Yeah.
Run in the other direction. Because it's just fucking marketing.
They're
They're
just trying to
get your
capitalize on
credit
your-
card number
Yep.
and you're going to fail. And no, just don't.
In fact, they count on that. Like that's
For
why,
sure they do.
That's why Nutrisystem and all those places, they count on you failing and re-upping more than once.
Well, here's what ends up happening is they go, all right, Josh, what if I told you that I could get you to drop 30 pounds in the next 90 days and you could still eat the foods you love that got you here?
Sounds good.
Just give me your credit card.
Swipey swipe.
Perfect. Okay. Now that you're on board, throw those fucking Oreos out.
Yeah, but
you can't eat pizza anymore.
But you said but what the hell?
Yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for the $300 though.
Or like Nutrisystem and those things, they're just trying to sell you the food, right?
Right.
So they want to auto ship that food to you. And basically all they're doing is calorically restricting. Like that's why you look at those pizzas and you can tell they're crappy.
Sure.
And,
Oh, you're right, Josh. I did tell you can still eat those foods you love. Okay, here's your meal plan for
here's
tomorrow.
my first bite.
Here's
Slap it out of your hand.
Here's your meal plan for tomorrow. 1/4 of an Oreo.
Right.
Told you. Yep. You can still eat them.
Still eat Oreos.
Yep, I didn't lie to you.
Yeah. See, and like you said, I would rather just not eat the
for now
one Oreo.
Yeah, like I tell people, if you're obese and you have a ton of weight to lose, it's gonna suck for a little while.
Right, because there's a reason, like you said before, these foods were made in laboratories to taste super
So
fucking
you can't
good.
eat one because they're trying to make money. They don't make money if you eat one.
Exactly. You need to be buying
The chip
packs
company's
of Oreos.
goddamn marketing says nobody can eat just one.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Right.
That's literally. I mean, they acknowledge it.
Right.
They scream it from the rooftops.
Yeah, they're rubbing it in your face.
Yeah, they're like, look how freaking addictive these chips are. They
Yep.
literally say it in the freaking commercials.
Yep.
Oh, dude. And the bottom line is, whether or not it's technically an addiction or it's in the medical books as an addiction, doesn't matter. All that matters is the outcomes.
Right.
So
yeah.
who cares?
Give it a name. It's semantics
whatever.
at that point. Who gives a shit? I don't care what. Fine, then don't call it an addiction. I'm struggling with this food or this group of foods, and I can't stop eating them no matter what I do. Well, it's not an addiction. Okay.
Well, whatever.
You didn't. Oh, in that case, I guess I can stop eating them. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, now that I know it's not addiction, I guess I'll just stop.
Right.
Since
Asshole.
it definitely doesn't have a hold on me.
Right. Jeez.
Holy shit.
I don't get it. And I don't get what the point. What's the point? What are they accomplishing by telling people, well, it's not really an addiction?
Well, because you want to always out victim the other person. So, if you're an alcoholic, you don't want somebody saying food is an addiction because then
But these are coaches. These are people in a position of helping another
Right.
person who's struggling, who thinks that they may have an addiction to a certain food group, and they're going, it doesn't exist.
right. Well, number one, like you said, they're trying to market.
Yep.
So they want their services to be purchased and multiple times if possible.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
you're coming back every January.
Yeah. Oh, that 12 weeks didn't cut it. Well, Josh, throw me that credit card again.
Hey,
We'll get there.
There's 52 weeks in a year. That means you can hire me 4 times, 4 different times
Right.
when you fail. Yeah, I mean, there's that, and then there's just the whole they don't want to. I don't know. They feel like then it takes away from the they don't get to say you're just lazy anymore.
Right.
They don't want to admit that it's a real mental chemical problem.
Well, here's my theory. Shit on it if you want. I don't care.
I'm prepared.
I don't care.
I'm ready.
Here's the problem. If you go to a registered dietitian or a certified nutrition,
Eatright.com.
Right.
Or whatever.
or a registered dietitian or a certified nutritionist, and you say, I need your help. I'm addicted to certain foods. What does that do? It automatically disqualifies them from helping you. Because it's not about food anymore.
Oh,
Now it's mental health.
right.
So they have to steer it back and make it about food. Otherwise,
okay.
otherwise they're out.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
So
That's not crazy.
I know, but
No, it's not too crazy.
I just think that that's their angle.
Right. So it's got, yeah, right. So, well, plus, I mean, it just flies in the face of what they've been taught too.
Right.
So they're unless this stuff is making it into the training, that's currently being taught to nutritionists graduating right now, which I doubt,
Right.
because they're still teaching the pyramid and all the other
Yeah.
antiquated crap.
Well, see, and this is the whole reason why for my company, Next 40, is I handle the food stuff and Mel handles mental health stuff.
Right.
Because it is real and it does come up. And there are times when I have to go, Mel, you got this one.
Right.
This is outside of my scope. I got to stay in my lane. This isn't my expertise.
Exactly. And because, like you said, even though if it's not in the diagnostic manual or whatever they call that, pragmatically, that doesn't matter.
Right.
All that matters is, are we getting the results?
Right.
So if they're behaving like it's an addiction, then we need to treat it like that and deal with it. And
So what happens if they're emotional triggers for, now we're going to get super deep, but I won't go too far down this rabbit hole. But what happens when, because this is real, this isn't hypothetical. What happens when that emotional,
like if I say my uncle used to finger me and then
Exactly.
give me an Oreo after every time.
if there's an emotion, well, it's not funny though, because it is people who are,
Well,
their emotional trigger is because of traumatic excuses when they're children.
yeah.
And all of a sudden now it's not like, oh, sorry about your scumbag uncle.
Right.
But just try harder.
Which, by the way, I made that up. That did not happen.
Good. Otherwise, we're going to have a conversation while we're not recording. But no, seriously, if somebody has those emotional triggers and that's the demons they're fighting, that's causing this unhealthy relationship with food.
Yeah. You have to deal with
There's
that.
no fucking meal planning that's going to solve that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no macros that are
Because-
going to solve that.
Yeah, because the meal plan that Dewey made for me, you're just going to go, well, fuck this.
Yeah.
I feel like shit. I'm going to eat some ice cream.
Because it'll make me feel better.
Exactly. And that's just, again, to draw the parallel between alcoholism and everything else, that's the same reasons people drink,
For sure.
right? Just to
Self-medicating.
self-medicate, drown that stuff out. I need to feel better.
Right.
I need that boost of dopamine. Or
Exactly.
whatever, you know?
Yeah. Right. That's their drug.
Yep.
But they're not addicted. It's not a real thing.
Yeah. So really, I mean, you have to deal with that root psychological stuff. If you have that as an issue, you have to deal with that.
And if oh, here it comes. You have your bomb thing ready.
Okay.
If you are considerably obese,
Is that right?
that's really shitty timing. If you, most of the time, obviously there's varying degrees and you can't just make blanket statements, but most of the time, if you really struggle with food, that's it. That's it.
What's it?
That's the underlying, the emotional.
Okay, say that again so that I can give you a real bomb.
Well, you can't say it again.
We need this repackaged.
Okay. Most of the time, like I said, though, I don't want to make a blanket statement, but most of the time when people are seriously struggling with food and obesity, most of the time that emotional self-medication is the underlying issue.
There we go, baby.
So, you got to address that.
Even as a human robot, which I've been accused of being,
Yep.
kind of like Bill Gates, but just way, way less lines of code, and less zeros.
Sure. Right.
Well, all my zeros are after the decimal.
You have as many as you want.
But I've even noticed this in myself. Like something bad will happen, and you just feel that like twinge of like, you want to eat something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's even in a robotic, semi-mechanized human. I even feel
insensitive jerk like you.
That's just not in my programming.
Right. It's not how I'm wired. I get it.
But I do have a tinge of that though. I mean, it's crazy.
Really?
And I'm not like an emotional, like, give me the Ben and Jerry's I just got broke up with, but it's there.
Yeah.
I just don't, I mean, I'm sure everyone has it to varying degrees.
I have it with happy.
Oh, okay. So
If it's like,
let's celebrate. Let's get it on.
Yeah. Got a job promotion.
Get some French fries in there.
Go to the liquor store or the Snickers store.
Snickers star.
Either one. I'm good. Both.
Oh, dude.
They're right next door to each other.
Snickers stores, that's freaking hilarious. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't have any good answers here. We're just exploring the topic. We're not, I don't have a good answer, honestly.
We think we do.
For me,
At Next 40, we think we do have some good answers.
Your wife can handle the emotional side, deal with some of that, and then you're on the meal planning.
I mean,
and
that's
food
her.
side.
Yeah, that's her expertise.
Yeah, it's we should have her on to talk about this because man,
it's coming. Trust me, she asks every week.
Because we're just a couple of dummies.
Not every week, but
she doesn't even listen much. Just want to be on it.
She caught up last week.
But yeah, I don't have the answers, but you have to deal with it. I mean, for me, it's discipline and willpower.
Right.
It's on to true transparency. That's one of the reasons we're doing this show.
Right.
Is because I need that sense of
right.
Like,
right.
Dewey's going to measure me every week.
Exactly.
I'm talking about this. It has to be top of mind. It has to be a priority for me to maintain that. I can't just like push it down and have it be priority number 100.
Right.
It has to be high on the priority list. Just like if you talk to alcoholics, they treasure their sobriety.
Yep.
And they like cradle it and, tuck it in at night and bathe it. And,
absolutely.
They're like,
yeah, it's a
priority.
They're proud of it.
Because if they don't maintain that, their life goes to shit.
Right.
And obviously, my life isn't going to deteriorate but my health might. And, like we say all the time, it's not, how long you live. It's not just your lifespan. It's your health span.
Right.
I want the most amount of years where I'm the healthiest and the most vital.
Right.
And that's really what's friggin' important. Give myself a bomb, baby.
Attaboy.
All right. Well, we don't have answers, but it was a good discussion. So
needs to be talked about.
It does.
It's like both of the websites you brought up said,
and I'll put them in the show notes.
Increasingly, they're gaining evidence.
Yep.
They're gathering data and studying it, and the evidence is suggesting that shit's real.
Yeah, because to me, and all I needed to see was it lights up the same pleasure centers at the same intensity as cocaine and alcohol or whatever.
Right.
And sugar does the same thing, and I didn't find these studies, but I think there's some studies out there where they gave mice the option to get a sugar water drop or a cocaine water drop, and I think they all went for the sugar. After a while,
but then the same people will cite studies that say that when given sugar unlimited supply, they self-regulated.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So
it's to me, I mean, again, N of one.
The mice self-regulated, but that's like when I was
So
arguing,
the mice have more discipline than me. This is bullshit.
well, what my argument was to the guy I was arguing with was, yeah, that mouse.
Right.
I know lots of people who can have one beer
Yeah.
twice a year and not become an alcoholic. Was it every mouse
Right.
that could self-regulate?
Yeah. If
Or
you're
just
one
that one
if
in
you're
the
one of
cage?
yeah, exactly. That's a good point because I mean, like my wife drinks occasionally, but there can be like a 6-pack of whatever in our house for like a year at a time.
Right.
I mean, you could
Yep.
never do that at an alcoholic's house.
Right.
They'd be like, if it's in the house, it's getting drank.
Right. Absolutely.
And for me, that's if the Oreos are in the house, I'm going to find them like a freaking truffle pig.
Well, I'm going to know they're there. And maybe this is the self-regulation in me. But if I know they're there, I will prepare for a feast. I will not eat for 2 days and run 17 miles and
So you're like, I'm going to earn these freaking Oreos.
yep, and then earn them on the front side and then pay for them on the back side.
Oh shit.
Or just don't eat them.
Yeah. For me,
Yep.
it's abstinence.
The only time
That's
I
it
do
for
that
me.
with the Oreos and the almond bark covered Oreos at Christmas time.
Dude.
That's the only time I have them.
Yeah.
Is around Christmas. Or the chocolate covered peanut butter special K bars
Oh shit. Yes. Holy
and
shit.
eggnog. Christmas cookies and
man.
eggnog.
Dude, eggnog is freaking good.
Um,
All right. Well,
that's that week of Christmas.
let's go to the Snicker Star.
Week of Christmas coming up. I'm gonna get ready for it. What time? What's the date? April, May now. Yep, it's just right around the corner.
Yep. All you got to do is work out for the other 11 and a half months of the year.
Right, and it won't even bother. It won't even make a difference.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go get the tape.
Okay. Yep. We're going to get into. How fat is John? All righty.
You want to go through those?
All right. So we're going to measure my waist again. But I filled in everything else. I didn't drop. Just maintain my weight. So let's do the old waisty waist here. I'm getting stronger though. I can now do 16 chin-ups as of today.
16?
16 chin-ups. Strong ones too.
See, it's cheating for you. Look what happens.
Below the ribs. I hurt my freaking ribs this Saturday. Loading gear.
You hurt your ribs, or
Yeah, it
I
freaking
hurt
hurts.
it by doing this. 35.
All right. So I'm hanging in there.
I think you're plateauing.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Well, this is the hard part, right?
This is the hard part.
You start to level off, and those newbie gains are gone.
Newbie gains are gone. The honeymoon period's gone. Every pound I drop now is I got to fight for it.
And that's like when people say,
But I'm getting stronger though. Like when I'm doing, I track every weight I'm lifting,
yeah,
and I'm taking that progressive overload thing big time. Like when I started doing chin ups back in January, I was doing 6. That's to fail. I could not get 7 out. Now I'm doing 16. That's pretty good progress, I'd say.
well,
In a couple
back
months.
in January, you were doing how many? 6?
6, and I weighed 180 some or 190.
Right.
Yeah.
So you took off a weighted vest.
Yeah, exactly. Losing that weight helped a ton, but I am getting stronger though because all
You know
my-
how to find out? Put on a weighted vest. See if you can do more than 6.
yeah, put on 20 pounds. Yeah, right. Yeah, then it'd be apples to apples.
Yep.
Yeah, because but all my numbers are going up though. Like
Right.
I track my
Of course, you're getting stronger.
do the bro split,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to go up by like 5 pounds every week, and it's tough. I mean, I had to go buy 45-pound dumbbells.
Really?
Yeah, because I couldn't do like the rows and stuff with the 40s are too light,
Sure.
you know.
Because it wasn't over 60% of your 1 rep max.
Right. And I'm like, shit, I got to go. But that was a good feeling though, going to my 45-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
And now that I'm at 45 and I have these adjustable ones that go up to 50, if I have to buy new dumbbells because I'm too
go
strong
50?
for my 50s, that's going to be freaking awesome.
Then at what point do you just join a gym?
Well, I'll just buy more weight.
Okay. I'm a gym guy.
Yeah.
I like leaving the house.
See, that's where we differ. Like, I'm in this home gym group. It's funny because definitely two camps there. There's the guys that are like, I need the community. I need people cheering me on. I need just the feeling of hanging out.
Yep.
And I got a destination. Well, in fact, my wife, she I forget where she goes, but it's like sort of a CrossFit, high hit kind of thing.
Solid core. No, Orange Julius.
Orange Julius.
It's an inside joke. Sorry.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, well,
Orange Theory.
No, it's like more of a CrossFit. It's like box jumps.
That's what Orange
burpees
Theory
kind of
is.
shit. It's not like spinning or whatever.
Well, yeah, but that's what Orange Theory
Whatever.
is. Okay.
But she's got to go somewhere. I'm like,
The inside joke is we had a friend who was
Julius,
saying,
that's
I'm going to
very
go to. He said, I've been going to Orange Theory. And I said, look like you've been going to Orange Julius.
that is fucking good. Oh, shit. But I'm like, seeing the bank statements going, you can do burpees in the living room.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why do you need to go
Was that
somewhere?
Average Joe's or something like that?
I forget the name, but, it's like you can, especially when it's all of this body weight stuff.
Where's it at? Because now it's bothering me.
I've
I want to
never been
fucking
there.
know who it is. It's
I'll
not strong.
find out
It's
for
not
next
strong growth, is it?
I don't know.
How could you not know?
Solid core, is that a thing?
Yep.
I honestly don't remember.
But you said you were mad about the bank statement.
Yeah, I don't remember what it said.
Just
though.
saw
It
the
said one
number?
of those fitnessy kind of names.
So that just saw the numbers.
Right. And I'm like, yeah, you can do
You could
burpees.
own a gym for this
Yeah, you could do burpees.
in installments.
It's like, how about we do burpees while we're watching TV?
Right.
But yeah, so then, and I'm a home guy. Like I got my setup. I don't want people there. I like just going on the maximum efficiency. I get it way more done in a much shorter period of time. I'm not waiting for any machines. I'm got everything set up exactly how I want. I got the squat rack now. I'm working,
True.
working my way up to all this stuff. I can do all the stuff. I got the safety arms, and I don't have a problem staying motivated, And for me, it's just like I want to get it done in 45 minutes, not have the drive time and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just me.
I like
But what I would say is,
doing something different all the time.
yeah, and what I would say is, whatever gets you working out,
Whatever works.
Holy shit, man, just
Then
do it.
do it. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll applaud anybody that's finding a way to get her done. It's funny in this home gym. I'm in a couple of these home gym, garage gym kind of groups in Facebook.
Oh, okay.
People make their own shit.
Oh, yeah. I've
Like,
seen it.
There's
This
dudes in
one guy-
Africa, like
Yeah. And it's all wood and
wood, and or they take a bucket and they fill it with concrete
make a cable system.
and make they make like a barbell.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like they find just a piece of iron and then they put concrete that was in a bucket.
That's pretty cool.
On each side, and they're
Yeah.
freaking going for it. It's like,
Awesome.
dude, that's freaking awesome,
That's
man.
just getting it.
And they're literally in freaking Africa. They're like, there's like huts, and then they got, they're just working out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, more power to you, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, well, that was this weekend.
How fat is Josh? Pretty fat.
You didn't start with that, did you?
I did. You were
you?
getting the tape.
Oh.
All right, guys.
Oh,
Well,
yeah. I didn't hear it.
that was this week in Fit and Furious. So make sure you're hitting us up on info@fitandfurious.com. Send us questions. We love to answer viewer and listener
Show ideas.
questions.
Show ideas. Show
Yeah.
ideas.
What do you want to hear about? Make sure you watch YouTube to watch our extra shenanigans. We've been doing some reaction videos to gym fails. Check those out only in our YouTube channel. Weekly extra content there. We're anywhere audio podcasts are found, Apple, Spotify, anywhere else. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share. Hit up furiousmerch.com for t-shirts, and we will see you next week.